You seem uncomfortable. Do I make you nervous, Corky?
No.
Thirsty, maybe.
Curious, maybe.
That's funny. I'm feeling a little bit curious myself.
Anything worth having hurts a little. Besides, nobody likes the way they look. Welcome to Pleasers.
And Punishers.
Where we talk about movies that people love to watch.
Movies that ruin your today, tomorrow, and yesterday.
And all things kinky and queer.
I'm Caitlin of the North.
And I'm May, she's dessert, Schultz.
And today we're discussing I Hear Your Parents Are Dead. That must be really hard for you. In The Neon Demon from 2016, written and directed by Nicolas Winding Refn, starring Elle Fanning and Jenna Malone.
I'm not gonna say anything yet. So let me just ask my opening question. What's the most risky thing you did when you were 16?
Jesus Christ, man. What a question to...
It's so funny because my answer to this is going to be so fucking lame compared to yours. Because I know your teenage years were a lot more eventful than mine, we'll say.
Yeah, let's see. I was like 16. Well, God, where do I want to start? Where don't I want to start?
Just choose one thing. Choose a risky thing.
I met this person online, and I don't like the first night when I was talking to him, invited him over to my house. This worked out. I didn't die. Could have died. This is like early days of the internet too.
Yeah, we're talking like 2001, right?
Like 2000. Ended up losing my virginity to this person.
Oh, damn.
This is not that night. I wasn't that risky. Ended up losing my virginity to this person. At one point, they forget to pick me up at my house, and I'm moving from a house that is 40 minutes north of Seattle to Bainbridge Island. So all in all, you have to take a ferry. It's a couple hour trip almost. I panic because no one came to pick me up. I go to the people next door. And also, we're selling our house, so there's nothing in it. Go to the woman next door. The woman next door is wild. Again, panicking, I cannot remember anyone's phone number because, of course, my cell phone is dead and I do not have a charger. So I'm trying to recall numbers while I am panicking. This woman just goes, well, why don't we get you some food? Let's go get you some food. So we're driving around and she just keeps talking. She's like, oh, there's no Denny's. And, oh, maybe we could get you a hotel. But the only hotels open are by the hour, if you know what I mean. Oh, that has a bad reputation for something. If you know what I mean. I'm not sure if we actually ever got food. But she ends up dropping me off at a hotel. I sleep in their lobby until they make me get out because people are starting to check out. End up missing the first ferry. I have to wait there for an hour for the next one to come. I end up getting back home, but I don't tell anyone I was home. And my mattress is in the closet, so I fall asleep. Everyone else wakes up. No one knows where I am. I'm supposed to be home. They call every single person I know. But no one thought to look for me where my bed was, which was in the closet. This is all to say then, I started some, let's say, behaviors I would not condone. You try it, kids, that ended up with me having unprotected sex with a guy who sold candy at a Ren fair in his tent. What kind of bad decisions, risky behaviors did you make when you were 16, May?
I drove way too fast all the time. I'm talking going like 90 to 100 on the highway with a 55 or 65 mile an hour speed limit, and going like 40 or 50 on smaller streets that had like a 25 to 35 mile an hour speed limit, stuff like that. I was pretty lame in high school.
I forgot to preface this with, I had also been pursuing very hard a 21-year-old who was very good about trying to say no to me for a very long time. We never had sex. Also, I just want to tell everyone in Washington, it is age of consent is 16 up to like 4 years and a certain amount of months. So the ages all worked out with the months, so it was legal. Also, to let everyone know.
So it was technically legal.
It was
still
technically
morally
legal.
questionable, but it was
Morally
technically
questionable. Yeah, so that's to start everything that I said. That'll happen that year, where he ended up then rejecting me, ultimately going, "You're too young," and I was like, "No, I'm not." So, and then the rest of the behavior started. So I connect to this movie, I guess.
Got it. Okay. Well,
I was a latchkey kid. My mom worked nights.
speaking of things that are potentially morally questionable, let's get into some role play.
Is that your bathing suit? Is that your overbite?
Now, one of you will be the drowning victim, and the other one gets to be our lifesaver.
I'll be the victim. All your life.
Okay, in this section, we're going to tell you what happens in the film, so buckle up, bitches. A glitter-drenched opening credits sequence scored by Cliff Martinez's lush, arpeggiated synths brings us into a photo shoot where Elle Fanning, playing Jessie, is sprawled on a couch, looking quite fabulous, and also possibly dead.
So good.
Backstage,
So fabulous.
Makeup artist Ruby, played by our girlfriend, Jenna Malone, whose name I spelled wrong here, gives Jessie some sage advice while also coveting her beauty. They go to a party together where Jessie's natural beauty and distaste for plastic surgery make two other models, Gigi and Sarah, very jealous and pretty fucking mean.
How so? What do you mean?
Christina Hendricks interviews Jessie as a modeling prospect. She would never say that Jessie's fat, but someone else might. Oh, and always say you're 19. People believe what they're told. Jessie confesses to her photographer friend Dean, played by Carl Glusman, who I love and did not remember was in this movie, that she's only 16, but apparently that doesn't stop him from wanting to go out with her again, which is, again, morally questionable, because we don't know how old he is.
I had questions there, certainly.
He seems like he's in his early 20s, probably just finished college with a degree in photography of some kind, and that's why he's trying to build up a portfolio and get noticed. Anyway, Jessie gets some help from the hotel manager, an uncharacteristically gruff and creepy Keanu Reeves, because there's a fucking cougar in her hotel room.
How did it get there? Who cares? I don't.
Cougars in there singing Talking Heads. How did I get here? The next day, Detective Joey Quinn from Dexter closes the set of a photo shoot and instructs Jessie to disrobe while looking at her with the most predatory glare I've ever seen. He turns off most of the lights and slathers her in liquid gold before finally taking photos. Ruby's mean model friend Sarah is overlooked by casting director Jamie fucking Clayton and designer Robert in favor of Jessie, and Sarah is quite upset. She breaks the mirror in the bathroom, and when Jessie comes to help, she injures her hand on a piece of broken glass. Sarah then aggressively attempts to consume her blood, causing Jessie to flee.
Wait, I just put together that was Jamie Clayton. Even though you said that, at first I was just living over here, listening to you talk, and I went, wait,
You can hear it in her voice because she has such a distinctive voice. And we'll talk about it eventually, but that's part of why I love her so much as the Hell Priest in 2022 Hellraiser, because her voice is incredible.
I listened to the commentary and they say that she could, not sit still.
Dean brings Jessie flowers and she immediately passes out. He then confronts Keanu, who calls Jessie hard candy and tries to pimp out a 13-year-old girl staying in the hotel. But Dean is more interested in paying off Jessie's debt and removing the glass from her hand. Okay, so he's being a gentleman. He's not a total creep.
Dean.
In a dark liminal space marked by an upside-down Triforce, Jessie closes a fashion show and seemingly transforms or possibly gets possessed in its center. In a bar or a diner or whatever, Robert subjects Gigi to scrutiny of her manufactured beauty. Beauty isn't everything. It's the only thing. Jessie then parts ways with Dean, who is actually trying to be a sweet person and keep her from turning into a piece of shit.
Dean.
Keanu comes into Jessie's room while she's sleeping and forces her to deep-throat his knife. Unclear if that was a dream, she awakens on the floor as someone attempts to enter her room, but the perpetrator moves on to the next girl's room, and Jessie listens as something very bad happens. Ruby offers a safe haven for Jessie, brushes her hair, and then assaults her after finding out she's a virgin. Then she goes to her day job as a mortuary makeup artist, where she molests a corpse while Jessie, maybe, masturbates on a couch back at the house. Ruby, Sarah, and Gigi all take turns attacking Jessie, ending with Ruby pushing her into the empty pool. Gigi and Sarah shower the copious amounts of blood off of themselves while Ruby soaks in a tub, also covered in blood, and the movie finally elicits a positive emotional reaction from me. Ruby then goes about her day, watering the plants, washing the blood out of the pool, laying in a shallow grave smoking a cigarette, and expelling copious amounts of either blood or amniotic fluid from her nethers. At a modeling gig the next day, Sarah admits she ate her when asked if a girl ever screwed her out of a job. Gigi runs to a blue swastika-covered room, vomits up an eyeball, then slices herself open with a large pair of fabric shears. Sarah gingerly picks up the eyeball and places it in her salivating mouth, a single tear trailing down her cheek, and we cut to the desert for credits. So that's the Neon Demon, and in case you couldn't tell from my tone reading my synopsis, not a movie I particularly enjoy. This was my second watch. I watched it back in 2019. When I first started logging stuff on Letterboxd, and I gave it 1 star back then because I just really, really hated it. Now, I should also say, this is the only film of Refn's that I have seen. I've never seen Drive. I've never seen Only God Forgives. I've never seen any of the stuff he did with Mads Mikkelsen. This is my only experience with him as a filmmaker. And watching it this time, I gave it 2.5 stars because visually it is breathtaking. Cliff Martinez's score is phenomenal. I love Cliff Martinez. And he and Refn are frequent collaborators. And I've listened to his scores for all of Refn's films, and they are fantastic. And I loved Martinez back when he was working with Steven Soderbergh. He's done a lot of great stuff. Maybe one of the few previous members of the Red Hot Chili Peppers who's worth talking about.
Ah, okay.
But
I don't know people's names.
Yeah, that's fair. If I can help it, I'm probably not going to watch this movie again. It's not particularly an enjoyable experience for me. I'll certainly listen to the score. But yeah, I just, it really is just outside of things I enjoy in movies in so many ways. But I know you really like this movie, so tell me about your history with it.
I love this movie. 1, everything you said, fair and valid. Just to say, I must have watched this movie when it first came out. 2016, 2017 was a time I was very, very busy at work, so it's a bit of a blur to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe this dropped on streaming either immediately or...
It was an Amazon movie,
Yeah,
so
like
I
an early
believe
one.
that I think it had a limited theatrical release and dropped on streaming pretty immediately. But I'm not entirely sure. I did not look into that, admittedly.
I definitely forgot to look that up. But I had seen Drive and the Pusher series. So I was familiar, and I was just like, what is this, like, bright color, bisexual lighting, orgasm? I was like, this is a movie about, like, fashion and demons. I am here. Tell me everything. And I only bought it recently on physical, but that's because I am now 100% physical train over here. There's so many reasons. I feel like we've talked about it, and I'm still upset to this day about streaming and all the streaming things. I will watch this as like a comfort watch. Like, I love it. I love how mean they are to each other. I see a lot. I think it's the first time I watched it, I was not expecting the ending to go anywhere close to where it was going. And when that turn happens and Abby Lee Sarah like runs up and just pops Jesse right in the face, and it is incredible because she is such a little shit. And then they ate her, and I was like, all them witches.
See, and that's my whole thing. I wanted the ending to go harder. I wanted to see them consuming her. I wanted to see more of the actual act to make it feel more visceral, because there was so much that was alluded to throughout the course of the movie, and then that's alluded to as well. And it's very obvious what they have done when it cuts to the next scene and Jenna Malone's covered in blood soaking in the tub and the other two are covered in blood in the shower. I get it. But give me a little something. Give me more payoff. The movie felt like it was edging the whole time and then had a ruined orgasm at the end. And I am not a fan of ruined orgasms or ruined orgasm porn. Okay. But here's my bigger question. Did this movie ruin Keanu Reeves for you for any period of time?
Oh, he's abhorrent.
Oh, he is an absolute piece of shit. He makes Patrick Wilson's character from Hard Candy look like Mr. fucking Rogers.
When I put together one of like the 4 times I watched it for this recording, that the girl that he was talking about in room 214 would have been right next to Jessie. And that is who she's hearing either real, or sometimes I think that maybe it's something that Ruby is making happen to get Jessie to the house. But
Interesting.
And maybe the second time I rewatched it, I started to really look at everyone's behaviors and how people were really like looking at each other and how predatory it was. I watched it with my demon sister, other Caitlin, who I know is listening. Hello, Caitlin. And she immediately was like, why does everyone look like they want to eat her? I was like,
because they fucking do.
It is, are you sex or are you food? And when the sex is rejected, she becomes food.
Right. Well, yeah, this really upset me.
It's so upsetting.
In terms of Keanu Reeves, because I love Keanu Reeves. I have loved him since I was a kid. I have always been a staunch defender of him as an actor. I like his acting style. I know it doesn't work for some people. I know some people think he's a straight up bad actor. I don't agree with that. His performance in this is very good, but it was the first time I had ever seen him play a straight up villain, and not just a villain, but someone who is so scuzzy and truly disgusting in his motivations and his actions. And yeah, it made it hard for me to look at him for a while, and I think that's a big part of why I never watched the John Wick movies.
Interesting.
Which I do want to watch at some point, because I've heard they're really fun.
Yes, they definitely are. And because the guy who also choreographed, did all the stunts, he was the one who directed Atomic Blonde, if I am correct.
Okay, I love that movie, and that is on our list to cover at some point. It's
one of my favorites, I'll also say. I'm a man of many tastes. I do not remember how we got here. Oh, Keanu Reeves! Yes! Oh, yeah. God. I feel like this was a bit like, I'm coming back and I am playing against type hard.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of in that lull where people were making more, I feel like, a joke out of his acting career. And it was one of those, like, I'm doing this weird, like, vibey horror movie where I'm going to throat penetrate someone with a knife. Oh, it's so uncomfortable.
Well,
Ugh.
Speaking of coming back, let's discuss the film's historical context in our next section, Faith and Chance.
I can't exist by myself because I'm afraid of myself, because I'm the maker of my own evil. Goodness is only some kind of reflection upon evil. That's all it is.
Well, that was a sloppy fucking transition. So let's just move on from that. What was happening in movies at the time? And the only note I put here is Starry Eyes from 2014, which I don't know if you've seen.
I have, but it's been a very long time, so.
I watched that either earlier this year or last year for the first time. And this definitely feels like it could have been inspired by that movie. But I feel like that movie has... I know a lot of people are like, style over substance is bad. And I don't like that argument most of the time. However, and I'll get more into this later, I feel like Starry Eyes is all about the substance and has great style to complement it. I don't feel like there's a lot of substance in this film. And again, if that works for you, that is totally fine. It doesn't work for me. So I'm going to stick with Starry Eyes, and we'll cover that eventually, because that is a fucking Punisher for movie. But I also love it.
I remember.
So what else was going on?
We are right. So this comes out 2016, and we are just right at this elevated horror movie moment, quote unquote. The Witch, 2015.
By the way, my was to the
term elevated horror, because tell me you don't actually like horror while telling me you like horror. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. What I meant to say, you all get it.
Yes.
It's there's art to be found in schlock as well. There's meaning 100%. And art to be found in.
We're both fans of Mystery Science Theater and riff tracks,
God, yes.
And some of those movies are delightful. And some of those movies have interesting, strange things to say, even if they're not quote-unquote good movies.
The way it was delivered may have needed a little help there.
Yeah, for sure. But that doesn't mean they're not enjoyable.
Exactly. So, this is, though, what kind of these ideas where we're moving out of, again, this, where is horror really going? It's going to A24. It's where it's going, apparently. But we have...
Sorry. The old inside joke laughing at you calling it A24 instead of A24.
Yes.
And I think you know what I'm referring to.
I forgot I was making an inside joke. That's so good. Hooray for me. I'm in a very good mood today. Yes. And Monkey Paw, we get Jordan Peele, and these kind of like this idea of like message movies or trauma movies or however people want to refer to them now.
As if horror has never done that before.
Have you seen the 70s? Have you seen the 20s? The thing that I find very interesting, though, about Neon Demon is while this is all happening and kind of right before this explodes, this is being made. Like, Elle Fanny was 16 when they started shooting, which, oh, yeah.
Oh, because she was 18 or 19 when it came out.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Which she was 16 when they started filming.
Yes.
That's,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. I listened to the commentary, which is not really worth it, I will say. It's kind of a vapid commentary. Which was
interesting.
Who would have thought? But that does come up, and they do talk about that aspect, which I did find interesting, what she had to say versus him, and also that you're in the same room doing a commentary, which is what a time to be talking about exploitation and movies and things. So part of me feels like this is why the movie feels more like vapid and indulgent than some of the other high visual, I guess maybe I would call it, horror. Mm-hmm. That it is because it was kind of coming out in a time that didn't have as much to say.
Got it. Yeah, that's fair. So what was happening in the socio-political landscape at this time?
So instead of the socio-political landscape, I would like to talk about corpses. And thank you. I'm very excited about this. So, as discussed, there are some witchy elements to this. And with our director being from Denmark, this time around, I started to think about ritual and sorcery, and also how the corpse was used, particularly as Jenna Malone is fucking it. And how it's interesting that she works as a makeup artist in a mortuary. And there is a large tradition in Scandinavian and Germanic cultures of the cadaver used in ritual and as magic to gain knowledge, as divination tools. And I'm pulling a lot from the language of the corpse, the power of the cadaver in Germanic and Icelandic sorcery by Cody Dickerson.
I wish I was better at reading nonfiction, because you sent me a picture of that book and I was like, God, I want to read that, but I know I won't be able to get absorbed into it.
I will say what I like about this book is it is 76 pages long and there's a lot of citation. So it is a pretty breezy read. It's not an in-depth look, but definitely a good step your toe into a little bit of Icelandic sorcery, which is some dark shit, y'all.
I do have a book about death rituals around the world that my bestie Erica gave to me as a gift a while ago, and I have read parts of that, and it is extremely fascinating. The way a culture treats their dead is always an interesting indicator of like cultural values and social mores and all these things. So maybe I'll dive back into that at some point. Anyway, please tell me more about what you found out from this book.
We're talking about witchcraft and sorcery was more pervasive in Scandinavian cultures just due to them being converted to Christianity a bit later than more of the continental Europe, even though, yes, Denmark is on the continent of Europe. I am aware. I'm terrible at geography, but I know that much. Pre-Christianity, the relationship that they had with the corpse was not one of fear. And coming from that, and there was a lot of practice of haruspicy. You know what? I listened to how to say it, and I said it several times. And I knew immediately when I had to say it on mic, there was no way I was going to get it. It's divination. This is where you use, like, entrails to gain knowledge, prophecy, all of that. All of those things that you want to know.
And all that jazz.
So, talking about this, it is where, end quote, the corpse becomes an agent by which the living are made privy to knowledge that was before possessed only by the gods. A link between man and the divine is crystallized in the act of sacrifice, and as a result, those conducting the act become the recipients of divine wisdom. And we have here just a lot of respect, again, for our dead and our rituals. There is this Munich Handbook of Necromancy, and it has like hundreds and hundreds of folios.
Ooh.
And, quote, workings related to necromancy, illusionist magic, divinatory rites, and rituals designed to aid the sorcerer in manipulating the minds of others. So I bring these things up because do I think this was meant to be in the movie? I'm not sure. Do I see some of this in the movie? Absolutely. And connecting it back to sort of the greater culture of Denmark and these folk tales and folk traditions and witchcraft with how NWR, which every time I say that, I want to be like, NWR, KPRW, thank you for listening.
See, and my brain immediately went to NWA.
Yep, that as well. I was like, this also feels my man. My man Nicholas here and his greater connection, the folk traditions and the tales of witchcraft that he would have been drawing would have been from these sources, more so than someone who potentially was making a movie about that had some witchcraft elements and sorcery in the Americas.
Okay.
And then I know, ask me about necropants. Do you know about the necropants?
Please tell me about necropants. I think I know what this is, but I can't remember, and it's going to be very interesting to tell our listeners, so go ahead.
So, this is Iceland, and Iceland probably has the, like, darkest kinds of magic that they practice. They also have a witchcraft and, like, sorcery museum. That is not what it's called. I really, really want to go. And they have a reproduction of necropants. So, this is what you gotta do. The end goal here is wealth. We want all our money. So we have a friend who dies. We have to wake them back up and ask them, is it okay if I make a pair of pants out of your skin?
Mm-hmm.
And they have to agree. You can't just take it. They have to agree, or else the spell will be no good. Then
you can't do necropancy without consent.
Necropancy. So then you have to take the skin off in like one piece.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put a gold coin in the crotch. Or like a scrotum. Because apparently we are only taking this from someone with a scrotum. So we put it where the scrotum would be.
Of course.
Like you do. And you wear them. And then you make money.
Cool.
And that's necropants. Try it.
If you can't afford to buy necropants, homemade is fine.
Sounds like so much work.
So all of that ties into this movie in what feels like a sort of incidental way. And I like that you're putting this reading into it. It certainly makes it feel a little more substantive, a little more fascinating. This is a very divisive movie.
Yes.
It's got a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 3.2 out of 5 or 6.4 out of 10 on Letterboxd, which that one was actually higher than I thought it was.
That is surprising.
I thought people were like really harsh on this movie, but it seems like a lot of folks like it. Our friend of the pod, Devon, loves this movie and was so excited when I told him that we were covering it. And I was like, I don't think you're going to be happy when you know how I feel about the movie. So I'm sorry, Devon. I adore you. I just don't like this movie. Okay, and then you basically have a note here that reads like a maniacal laugh. So what's that about?
You know, at that point, I may not have exactly known what I was going to say. And it could have been anything. Because again, I feel a little feisty right now. I think it was because I set up really well to start and didn't have to rush. And so I'm just like, I feel so good, you guys.
Excellent.
The best. One of the takeaways of this movie is more the style and the lighting. I feel like after this, we get a lot of movies that start utilizing this high contrast, highly stylized lighting. And apparently, he likes to use that because of his type of colorblindness.
Oh.
So
I did not know he was colorblind. That's fascinating.
So it's not just like, this looks amazing and I want to live here now. Right when the opening credits start and there's all that glitter, I'm like, just, this is where I want to live. Bathe me in the glitter and the beauty and the horribleness. And it being a very divisive movie, I have to say, I as well am very surprised about those Letterboxd scores because people did not like this movie when it came out. I remember that very clearly. So that's what I have to say about that.
Okay. Well,
but what do I have to say about money?
And now we're going to dig into the meat, the goo, the viscera, the eyeballs, the tummies, in a section we call Enough is the Myth.
No. I've done enough.
Enough is a myth.
Okay, so we've used the word vapid a few times in this conversation, and this film is about the vapid and cutthroat nature of the modeling world in LA, written and directed by, I believe, a straight Danish man.
As far as I know, yes.
Does the film actually have something worthwhile to say, or is it style over substance, just as the world the movie itself is critiquing?
I think the movie has something to say. However, it is this kind of celebration of narcissism and that, again, that beauty isn't the only thing, it's everything. And people in these creative spaces, what gives you power?
Right.
You know, this is right pre-Me Too, and the scene where Jack, the photographer, makes her disrobe, and she's 16. It is very, very like this American Apparel, Terry Richardson.
Yep.
Young, too young-looking fashion photos. And there are parts of this, but the movie doesn't really necessarily want to critique those.
Right. It's just like, here's this thing that happens. And it's also in the movie.
Yep.
Have fun. Yeah.
However, I do have the read that once Jessie meets Ruby, she is already marked. Again, she can either join and be sex, or we are going to do everything we can to get your power into us.
Okay, so that's a good lead-in to my next question. At various points throughout, Jessie seems to alternate between innocent kid from Georgia and scheming mastermind. Do you believe that she's truly just an ingenue who is blessed with natural beauty, or is she a master manipulator willing to do anything to make it to the top?
Oh, she's a manipulator.
Okay. Do you think that she fucked Jack during that photo shoot?
Ooh.
Because the first time I watched it, I did not think of her as anything but an innocent victim in all of these spaces. I interpreted everything as her being manipulated by the people around her and imitating the behaviors of the people around her until it consumed her. But this time watching it, I had a completely different read on it. And when she comes out, her hair wet, Ruby's waiting for her, and she just brushes aside Ruby's concerns, but then later claims that she's never been intimate with someone, I was like, oh, she probably did actually fuck the photographer guy. And she's telling Ruby that she's a virgin because she thinks that's going to put her off because she's A, straight, and B, not interested in Ruby.
Right.
Which, I mean, yeah, Ruby does some horrible things, but like, it's Jenna Malone. How can you not be interested in her?
Let's just say Jesse's tastes.
They're not great.
That might not be the best. She's really looking for the people who she thinks are going to get her the farthest. What I will say is my view on this is slightly spoiled because I did listen to the commentary, and they do specifically say that Jessie does not even kiss anyone. Like, it's really important
That's true.
that she maintains being a virgin throughout.
Oh. Okay, so that's not an act. That is actually true.
Yep.
Also,
but who,
virginity is a myth.
I know.
It's fucking, yeah.
Well, you say what you need to say.
There's a difference between not having an experience with someone and the quote-unquote virginity concept that we project onto people, the purity culture bullshit. I've talked so many times on podcasts about virgin blood in rituals, meaning blood from a person whose blood has never been used for magic before. Doesn't matter if they've had sex or not. It just means that their blood has never been used ritually and has never been imbued with magic previously, which makes it more potent.
And that this preoccupation with virginity and purity is a post-Christianity thing. This was this was not what was important to pagans or heathens and what have you.
No, they were like, oh, has your blood been used in a spell? No? Cool. Come here. We're going to use your blood for a spell.
Guess what? Good news for you. I mean, as I was talking about with this haruspice, I think that's it, haruspice. It's a lot of times it's men. It's like these bog bodies that archaeologists or whomever, because they're just very well preserved, have found and are like, this is what this was used for A, B, and C reasons. Yeah, that's men. There's a lot of these things in witchcraft where if you actually start looking at the folkloric traditions, everybody, what was pre and post-Christian, like the idea of the mother, maid, and crone is a Christian idea. That is, again, not the way that pre-Christians marked, or if some of them did, not everyone would have marked the phases of life for people. So
the triple goddess.
Those are the myth.
Okay, well, the film's climax has a witchy vibe with the consumption of human flesh done as ritual. And I wrote that before I knew that you were bringing in the stuff from the book about corpses and magic related to corpses. If you killed and ate someone to gain their beauty and power, what part of them would you eat first?
I will say, if this person has a womb, I'm going straight for the womb. I feel like there's probably a lot of power in the reproductive system there.
That makes a lot of sense.
And regenerative bloods and things.
Yeah.
And if the person doesn't have a womb, I'm probably going straight for the eyeballs. I also think it might be fun to chew on. I know. I really like boba because I feel like it might be like chewing
eating eyeballs.
Okay. Like I'm chewing on newt eyes, and it does make me feel a bit witchy. So I kind of like it.
When I was watching the film yesterday with my roommate Maeve, I asked, if you were going to eat someone's eyeball, would you chew it or would you swallow it whole? And she was like, I don't think I like the idea of it bursting open in my mouth, so I'd swallow it whole. And I agree.
It'd be like a gusher.
Yeah, that is exactly what she said. So, yeah. Anyway, now that I'm feeling slightly nauseous, I am sort of a traditionalist, and I would go right for the heart. I know that the heart is technically not where anything lies in terms of humanity and emotionality. It's all in the brain. For some reason, I'm doing my Tim Gunn impression. Where's Andre? Andre, you never take me to Red Lobster anymore. I want to eat some hearts. But magically speaking, ritually speaking, the heart is something that is very important. It supplies blood to the whole body. In my worldview, it is where emotions lie, because emotions and thoughts feel very separate sometimes, even if they can intertwine. And the idea of thoughts living in the brain and emotions living in the heart just kind of makes sense to me from a psychosomatic standpoint, I suppose. So I would eat someone's heart because that is the core of their essence. And then I would do the brain.
Oh, very good.
Thank you.
That brain those brains always make me nervous. Have you ever eaten blood as part of food? Like a blood pudding?
No. No, I've only consumed my own blood and someone else's blood as part of kink blood play.
Which one? 2. It's depending on how it's made, it can be pretty good. They'll do I know in Vietnamese food they'll be little blood cubes sometimes, and you can put them in your pho.
Ooh.
It's very good, everyone.
Interesting. Clearly,
blood.
Despite the fact that the majority of my cooking is vegetarian, I am not a vegetarian myself. It took me a long time to come to terms with I'm going to be on this earth for a limited amount of time. I want to be able to just enjoy myself while I'm here. And yeah, I do harm reduction in a lot of other ways. And I know I'm preemptively defending myself against no one here right now. This is just how my brain operates.
It can get pretty hairy when you start talking about food politics. I will say I am also not a vegetarian, and I have far too many food issues to ever be one.
Yeah.
And definitely could not be a vegan because I can't eat beans or wheat.
God, your poor tummy.
Yeah.
Well, I have no transition here.
We're doing great.
Let's play a game.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
Okay, Caitlin. I categorize this movie as a Punisher, both for myself, and I know that if I showed this to a group of friends, they would be mad at me, which is the whole concept of the Punisher aspect of our podcast.
Yes, it is. That's what we want.
Right. So I'm guessing you feel similarly to me on the latter part, but opposed on the former.
I think, and this might be controversial to say, and I think, though, that I'm going to say it, though. Any movie that involves corpse fucking automatically becomes a Punisher.
That's fair.
I think that really, once you go there, it definitely would be hard to come back from. I certainly recognize the punishing aspects of this. We are dealing with terrible people being very mean to each other. Mm-hmm. Not a whole lot of plot to speak of. It's the whole thing takes place in the Black Lodge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was
like,
writing my
okay.
synopsis while watching it, there were stretches of time where I was like, I don't actually need to write any of this down because it's not super consequential to what's happening. And that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's okay for a movie to be light on plot. It just doesn't work for me in this case.
And I stopped at one point and just started writing quotes. It's just like, I find it so delicious for myself. There is a deliciousness to this. I love fashion. I don't particularly like a lot of people who are into fashion. At a higher level, I will say, because some of my friends are fashion designers and things. And I have stage managed for them. You are all wonderful and not who I am talking about. And there's just this, it almost feels like this very kind of gay male culture where it's like, I just want to live in this beauty and vanity and nothing else.
Sometimes.
And this is what I want to be.
Expensive things are worse.
Never.
Well,
spend money on me. Pick me up and give me money.
Do you have any other final thoughts on the movie?
I do.
Okay.
This time around, I really did watch it through the lens of where the neon demon may be at any given time. I think because I was watching it on physical, not to hammer the point home, how bright people's eyes could get. Mm-hmm. Everyone has blue eyes in this movie. Every single person is thin, white, and has blue eyes. Anyone who talks.
Wait, even Carl Glusman?
He does not. Actually, no, he does not. Him, and I don't think Keanu Reeves do. Because they're kind of outside of, I'll say anyone who, and Keanu Reeves, obviously. Sorry. In the world of the fashion.
Got it. Okay.
Piece. Not the real world.
Okay.
The world of, I don't want to be them.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be a second-rate version of me. Bitch, if I had a fan, clack. Like, ooh, oh, nom, 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 nom. Like, can you imagine turning to someone and saying that? Oh,
I think it's happened on Drag Race.
Exactly. The devastation. So it's the combination of just like these witchcraft elements, watching where people's eyes are glowing blue versus kind of a more regular blue. What is Jessie doing? Because when I first watched it, I feel like I did have that idea that she was innocent, and watching it this time, I was like, oh, girl, you know exactly what you're doing. Exactly what you're doing because of how you look, you know how to get things from men.
Yeah.
However, you should have known how to get things from the coven, and instead just antagonistic the whole time. And nobody likes the way they look. I do. Ooh, again.
Yeah, she has absolutely no interest in assimilating into this group of people. She wants to rule them. Mm-hmm. She sees all of them as beneath her and just stepping stones to get where she wants to get.
And she is too young to figure out she's a fucking idiot.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say she's an idiot. I would say that she's an asshole.
Yeah, in kind of that way that a 16-year-old is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm invincible.
I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Remember what I said earlier, everyone? I was a fucking idiot. And
I used to be a piece of shit.
I was.
I said was!
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, and ultimately, this idea of what they wanted to possess, was it is it her beauty, or is it kind of more the essence, the confidence that Gigi cannot have? And if Gigi, again, very subtle, Gigi flat out is the one who says nobody likes the way they look.
Right.
And Gigi is the one who ends up not being able to contain the neon demon because she didn't have that kind of base level of confidence to already attack.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was all very well spoken, and I'm not gonna ruin that by saying anything else. So let's wrap up with what awaits us next time.
Don't you see? He's got us now. Okay, this is exactly what he wants. We can't go to the police, not now. He's made sure of that. He's just out there and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
I love you, May.
I love you too. Thank you. And that brings us to the end of our episode. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey, fellow travelers. If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review wherever you can, because it helps more people find the show and it makes us all tingly inside. You can find us on Instagram at Pleasers and Punishers and on Blue Sky at Pleasers Punishers. You can also email us at pleaserspunisherspodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at EversonPoe. That's EversonPoe. You can find my music on Bandcamp and streaming services as Everson Poe. I have my Hellraiser 2022 album up for pre-order right now. That is coming out September 21st. And hopefully before then, I will have test pressings in hand so that the vinyl version of the album will be up for pre-order. I am so excited. I had a band, and we put our first album out on vinyl in 2014, I think. And I put 3 of my songs out as a 7-inch EP in 2011. And that's the only music I've ever had pressed on vinyl. So this is a huge thing for me. I'm very excited. So yeah, check it out. Support your friends who make music. Support trans artists. There's a lot of trans women in metal, and we make great fucking music.
You know, the rage.
Yeah, I wonder why. But besides all that, you can hear me on Tender Subject, talking about body horror and cannibalism with friend of the pod, Kate Terry, and on Slayerfest 98, talking Buffy, Angel, the Magicians, and all things nerdy. Caitlin, where can you be found on the internet?
I can be found at Caitlin of the North on Blue Sky and Instagram, and a Cat of the North on Letterboxd. I also may or may not have episodes out on People Under the Scares Patreon for their Buffy watch along. Fuck my hellmouth. I haven't done the math yet. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh my god.
I know that they have a 7-day free trial for their Patreon. But I would need to confirm if you're just going to listen for me if when that all happens, because I didn't do the maths. Haven't done the maths
Which episodes did you get to cover?
I'm going to be on a watch party for Hush, hopefully.
Excellent.
Whatever the next one is after that, where we all get to deal with the fallout. And then A New Man.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
Giles as a demon, absolutely hilarious.
Originally, of course, I wanted to be on the Faith ones, but people were already on those, and I wasn't going to fuss about that. That's so rude. Don't be rude, you guys.
Hey, you know what? Maybe he'll be able to come back on with them when they do season 7, and you can talk about Faith some more.
What's up, Faith?
Well, next week's episode of our show is going to be on Knife Plus Heart, or my preferred way to say it, A Knife in the Heart, which is a direct translation of the French title from 2018. Until next week, everybody, do some aftercare, clean your toys, set healthy boundaries, and...
God, I love this color on me.
Scratching at the walls of my skull.